Welcome back to the morning show here on Arise News. Well, it's time now to review headlines on today's newspapers. And guess who's with us today? Our ombudsman of this day and Arise Media Group, Kayode Komolafe. Welcome, and Happy New Year. Do you see how excited we are? Happy New Year, welcome.
Happy New Year.
We missed you.
Good to have you on the show.
Yeah, we missed you.
Yes.
Good to have you back.
Thank you, Sheta.
All right, so let's do that, which you like very much, to review the headlines in the newspapers. And we start with this day on Sunday. We're taking it from top to bottom so that we can you can cascade down to the lead story that is, of course, what is going on in the country today. So from the window story, CBN decongests head office, relocates departments to Abuja. Banking supervision, consumer protection, payment, relocates departments to Lagos. To Lagos. Banking supervision, consumer protection, payment system management department, others affected. That's the story that that is trending on social media. A number of ex-CBN staffers have been weighing in, including the gentleman that ran for president, Moralu, who's saying that he doesn't appear quite comfortable with the idea, but a lot of people are saying that Abuja is congested, Lagos has space. What's wrong in moving, some key departments to the states? But that is what we have from the CBN. I hope that whoever they are moving to Lagos State, they're able to address the cash crunch, that is happening all over town, that you can't get your money out of the banks. Under that, the story on page 6 says Dangote refinery diesel aviation fuel will hit markets this month. Yay. That's a good one, isn't it, from Dangote refineries after about 6 million crude the barrels, or what is it that they got from the NNPC? 6 million of that. Now diesel and aviation fuel will be ready. We can't wait for the PMS to also join that so that it can reduce the sufferings of Nigerians. Under the masthead is the story Tinubu Shetima didn't interfere in Supreme Court judgment on Kano election, say Yusuf Kwakwanso. Time shall tell if I will join president's government, former governor clarifies. Verdict has upheld principles of fairness, NNPP insists. And of course, the big one, KK, Supreme Court judgments fuel crisis of confidence in appeal court. All the riders are quite illuminating. Odin Kalu urges president of appeal court to resign. Other senior lawyers ask NJC to discipline justices involved in miscarriage of justice. Plateau government urged to go to Supreme Court to seek justice for sacked lawmakers. Plateau governor, of course, retained his seat, but the lawmakers got the boot. Assembly Speaker declares appeal court ordered APC members illegitimate. And last but not the least is the Afrexim Bank confirms release of $2.25 billion of crude oil repayment loan to Nigeria. That story is on page 8 of today's paper. Those are the stories. KK.
Yeah. Thank you, Steve. Yeah. Well, if you permit me, I'd like just to make an observation. This is in this super review.
Yes.
That of all the front pages I've seen today, there's a story that ought to be there that is not there. And that is this catastrophic milestone. Today is 100 days that the Israel war on Gaza. More than 23,000 human beings, fellow human beings, including 10,000 children, have been killed. So, for the sake of, in the interest of common humanity, I think it's not actually interest every person.
That observation is not just for the cover of these days, for all the papers.
All the papers. Yes, I say in all the papers. I said we're doing newspaper review.
Yes.
That all the papers, all the papers, it's not. And it used not to be like this, in Nigerian media. You need to be very. Steve, you are a distinguished editor. when it comes to foreign
Absolutely.
affairs, you have to be very strong.
Something that affects humanity.
Both in terms of news reporting,
Yeah.
commentary, and that's just simply because apart from the obvious philosophical question that is our common humanity, but even in practical terms, the consequences, I mean, right now the Houthi rebels, are attacking ships, in the Red Sea, the supply chain, will be affected, the economic consequences of that will not just be on Europe and America, and other parts of the world.
That's correct.
It was just like when the Ukraine and Russia-Ukraine was started. The Nigerian media was just silent on the thing. Only a few days later to discover that more than 4,000 Nigerian students were in Ukraine. So I think there is something fundamentally wrong, with the orientation of our editors, as far as the Nigerian place is in the world. The other point to also make is that where America and its NATO allies have failed to offer moral leadership, South Africa, here in our own continent, is asserting our common humanity and offering moral leadership to the world, by taking Israel to the
international court.
International court, and I've been placing a case of genocide, and I think that Nigeria being the largest country in Africa ought to be interested, So just the same way in which the official, perhaps official lukewarm, also that is also being reflected in the media, and I think that is a serious deficit. We should.
Great observation, Mr. Komolafe. Great observation, and thank you for highlighting that. Very devastating.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Now, on a sharing note, I can only echo what Steve has said, that consumers cannot wait for the Dangote refinery to start putting PMS, but then it is indeed sharing news that this month, as we promised, that diesel and aviation fuel will be available, and I think it's a very important development in Nigerian, for the Nigerian economy. That Dangote refinery at last, will be having products in the market. So we say congratulations, to the Dangote group, and wish them well. And of course, it's also a great thing that just as Dangote refinery is going into operation, there also there's the promise that other refineries also will put a product in the market. So that that aspect,
especially the Port Harcourt refinery.
Yes, sir. So that aspect, of our economy. The crisis in that aspect at least will be resolved. In that sector of in that segment of the energy sector. That we have a stable, supply. And of course, consumers can only hope that it will be
and hopefully at a slightly reduced price.
At affordable price. But at least we'll put an end to this shame. Of an oil exporting country.
Importing.
Importing the fuel. It's a national shame. So if this will put an end to that national shame, which has lasted for decades, then I think it's a great thing. It's something that is worth celebration, and it's very significant to the to the economy. Now to the main story, I think there's need for caution. Because there are about 2 or 3 aspects to the story. The first one is that it is wrong, to criminalize a judge for giving judgment. There's nothing, there is nothing wrong in what the justices of the judges of our appeal court, or even the lower, or even the tribunal, law is not a mechanical thing. That is why the jurisprudence, which is the philosophy or the theory of law. It is precisely because philosophically, that the interpretation, of law, of looking at a case, that will be divergent perspectives. That is why you even have more than one judge sitting on a case, that you have a panel, that you see differently. So if the Supreme Court justices see the matter differently from the appeal court and be the final, that does not automatically make the action of the lower court a criminal. So I think it's unfair, the kind of pillorying, of the judges of the appeal court you know, I mean that it's going on. I mean this kind of media, you know, trial, you know, of it.
Yeah, but I think the editor of the Sunday this day is careful and in using the right word. It's a crisis of confidence. It's not.
No, I've read the whole story.
Yeah.
You know, I've read the whole story.
Yeah.
And my comment, you know, is based on my reaction to those stories. And not just only, by the way, not only this. Let's just say that virtually all the papers we are reviewing today have expectedly, you know, the story on their front pages. Yeah. So what I'm saying is not only about this day, but about all the papers that we should be very careful the way we you know. Okay, just imagine this hypothetical case. What if the appeal court, I mean, if the Supreme Court, you know, if you have a split opinion, okay, and then maybe majority, you know, I mean, come up with a decision, which is what we have now. You know, that all the cases before them on Friday, you know, they were all. I mean, all the governors, you know, you know, I mean, like somebody said, I mean, all of them, you know, went home, you know. Okay, so if you had a split, you know, and a majority, you know, I mean, what we have now is majority decision, and a minority of the Supreme Court justices, you know, see things the same way as the Court of Appeal. Yeah. Are you now going to say that, you know, the minority, those who hold the minority opinion of the Supreme Court should be sanctioned? Are you going to sanction them for their opinion?
No.
So and they have not done anything criminal, and the procedure is quite clear. Yeah. If you have anything against a judge, you can petition to the National Judicial Council, you know, with evidence. You know, put in, but not just in a blanket way, simply because a judgment has been given and it does not, you don't like the way it's not against your interest, and then you denigrate the institution, because what is going on now, you know, is the denigration of the institution, you know, and I think it's not, and it's also very disappointing that even lawyers are joining in this, you know, and establishment, you know, that whatever the case may be, you protect the institution. If somebody has had an infraction, has committed any mistake, you go through the process, you know, by ensuring that there is discipline and there is sanction. You know, and you don't sanction a judge by just saying on the basis of people that they are corrupt, they should resign. Some will even call them bandits and the rest. I don't think it's proper. Yes. But finally, if you permit, the more fundamental thing is that we should walk towards a situation whereby we have elections where the final verdict is not in the court, you know, because I mean, like there was a post, you know, that there was a post last Friday showing the photo of Supreme Court and saying that is the final collation center. that the elections took place in February and March, but the collation continued until the governorship election took place in March. But the final collation took place only on.
But that is the clear depiction of our political landscape.
And I'm saying that we should work towards reversing that, you know. And to do that, I'm saying that, you know, it's not just only the business of INEC. INEC has a role to play there by, you know, conducting efficient, you know, and, you know, transparent and honest election. But other players, the political parties, the politicians, you know, the politicians and the agencies of government that are also in the process, you know, they also have a role to play. Even the civil society, you know, they also have a role to play. That when people monitor election, they should not monitor. I mean, they should not. The monitors should not be partisan, you know, in their commentaries and their observations, so that they come out, you know, with the true picture of things.
Yeah.
So it is when we ensure that elections are finally determined at the polling booth, you know, where it takes place, and then finally at the collation center, that will not be having this. You know, I think that should be the main.
Absolutely, you're very correct. But just very quickly on the other issue of how the media and the newspapers are reporting the fact that different interest groups are engaging with the judgment at the appeal court, which Supreme Court has overruled. I'd like just to read, you know, an informed opinion that came in, you know, that simply says that law is based on tradition and precedent, and that the Supreme Court's opinion is the law. You know, so I mean that's what the newspapers are reflecting, and if there are issues,
yes, I nobody dispute that. But what I'm saying is that while the Supreme Court position is final, no, and that is not in dispute.
Yeah.
Then, but now to say that the lower court that gave a different verdict, different from that is because should be sanctioned. That I mean to now be denigrating them and be accusing them unfairly of corruption, of miscarriage of justice. It is wrong.
I don't think a newspaper editorial will push that. What a newspaper will do is to reflect, especially if those who are making arguments that are suggestive of that are not ordinary people, are people, you know, of letters, are lawyers and stuff. That's people of letters have no right, you know, to accuse a judge, you know, of corruption without any evidence. What I'm saying is that a responsible man of letter, if you found a judge to have committed any offense of corruption, you go through the process. The process, the NJC.
But not just to be labeling them on the pages of this. That's what I'm saying.
But once it is suggestive,
when you do that, you know, you are doing institutional damage.
I agree.
You know,
but once it is suggestive of crisis of confidence, it is the duty of the media to x-ray it. That's my point.
Well, all right.
And I agree with you.
Very robust conversation here. Let's go over to This Day's Style here. And on the cover of This Day's Style are 11 personalities who are termed game changers of 2024, shaping the future. There are different categories in This Day's Style, from politics and governance to entertainment, technology, creatives, fashion and lifestyle, healthcare and sports. I'll highlight some of the people on the cover here. We had Burna Boy. I can see you smiling. Mr. Komolafe, obviously Burna Boy is underneath entertainment. And then we have Enioluwa Adeoluwa.
Who's that one?
He's under the creatives. I mean, he's right there on the left-hand corner, Steve, and he's been doing absolutely well, changing the landscape of
He's one of our first 11 game changers.
He is part of the game changers. Enioluwa Adeoluwa is a Nigerian public speaker, influencer, and brand communication strategist. Yes, he is an influencer. And influencers are very important, Steve Ayorinde.
Who are they?
They are people who promote your brand. They are people who you can advertise with, and he's done really well. So shall we move over to and you are too, Steve Ayorinde. We also have Funke Akindele, who is underneath, because we're going to move over from that.
The billionaire lady.
Yes,
I don't know about that. That's Funke Akindele. Yes, billion naira lady who's done really well for herself in the entertainment sector. We also have
Dr. Benedict Orama, of course.
Benedict Orama, who's definitely under politics and governance. We have Wale Edun. We have sports, Victor Osimhen. We have
see him in action
Mokoye. Yes. And we have Titi Ogunfere. We also have Mohammed Ali Pate. I hope I'm not missing anybody out. Oh, we have Toby Amusha. Yes. We also have Benga Agbola. These 11 people and more are inside the cover of This Day as game changers. Let me just read a few profiles here for some of our viewers who are not very familiar with these people. I'm sure we all know Wale Edu, the man at the helm of Nigeria's finances. He has been dubbed the poster boy for Nigeria's economic revival. Of course, Benedict Orama, as president and chairman of the board of directors of the African Export-Import Bank, Afrexim Bank. He holds a key role in shaping the economic landscape, not only in Nigeria, but across the African continent. Of course, we talked about Funke Akindele, who stepped into 2024 with a bang. Her movie titled A Tribe Called Judah, the film made history by becoming the first Nollywood title to gross over 1 billion naira. Of course, we also have, I'll just highlight one more person who a lot of people might not know, is Jenny Nwokoye. In health tech, one name that stands out prominently, Jenny Nwokoye, the visionary founder of Clafia. She has redefined healthcare access and management in Nigeria. Clafia, often linked to the URBA model, is a platform that connects patients with community health workers, streamlining access to health maintenance organization. Well done to all these people, really. They are truly the face or the game changers of 2024. Any exceptions from you? Now you're quiet. Mr. Kamalafe, go ahead, please, with this amazing tribute that this day have paid to our stars here.
Again, it's a very commendable cover from this day style, you know. Quite characteristics of the stable of this day, you know. You have this diversity from economy to policy, culture, and the rest. Now, the implication of that is this, you know, I think that this kind of journalism we should try, you know. Now, these people are being put on the spot that game changers for 2024. So we hope that by December, we'll be able to do a review, you know, and see how much change, so that I like to put the editor of this day style on notice that he should be prepared that by December we should be able to have a review of the year, and then take a measurement of how much change, you know, these ladies and gentlemen of distinction, you know, have brought about.
Okay, let's go to the Nation very quickly, and the lead story screams more trouble for Edu. Others, as panel reviews NCIPA's regulations. President names Edu Party for others in ministerial committee. We had a discussion earlier on that, and I think that that's still the royal story in the rumble, you know, which everybody is still talking about. Will Beta Edu return or not? And it's beyond that, you know, will our case be the a necessary tool to re-engineer, to trigger, you know, because, I mean, different names have been mentioned, and it looks like the committee will have to come up with a holistic kind of recommendations on what to do with the ministry and how to do with the idea of freebies for the vulnerable in our country. Rivers crisis will fulfill our part of peace accord. That's Wike whining there. Outrage over killing of 1 of 6 siblings abducted in Abuja. And of course, you know that we can't but talk about Cote d'Ivoire beating Guinea-Bissau 2-0 in AFCON opener. The cover picture from the Nation is also about that beautiful opening, which, by the way, also had our own Yemi Alade performing at that beautiful stadium yesterday. We already discussed the CBN moving to decongest head office, and then confusion as sacked Plateau legislators vow to retake seats. I think that this is an important story, KK, given what we have been talking about and how the pronouncements of the Supreme Court should remain the law and not give room for an anarchy where appeal courts, you know, can upturn things, as we have found in Jaws. And this is why you have confusion as sacked Plateau legislators vow to retake seats. It's a call to anarchy, and I think that if it means calling out the appeal court, you know, justices, one way or the other, in order to strengthen our democracy, I think that we mustn't shy away from it. KK.
There is no anarchy except it's an invented one. You know, there's no anarchy in this matter. I mean, the electoral law is clear. The laws are there. The final court of appeal for the category of cases of the legislation is the court of appeal, unless you change the law. And in any case, instead of anarchy, the challenge now is for the lawyers of those things to see what is possible within the law. So I don't see any anarchy.
What do you think is possible?
Well, I mean, I'm not a lawyer. I said they are lawyers. That's what they are paid now. Yeah. They may not think. I'm just saying that instead of people inventing anarchy, rather it should be for the lawyers to see what is possible, you know, to help, you know, their client, you know, based on the law. But from what is clear, the appeal court is the final court of appeal, you know, in respect of the younger. I mean, there is no room for remedy. And Steve, I still insist that yes, even though you have this contradiction, that does not automatically criminalize the verdict of the judge. You can't criminalize a judge for giving judgments based on his opinion. I mean, that is why he's a judge. But what I'm saying is that if anybody has any evidence of any wrongdoing by any judge, then you should go through the procedure. And every lawyer knows that you can send petition to NJC And of course, a fair hearing, you provide your evidence and you come to defense. And the NJC has had cause to sanction judges before now. I'm saying that the approach to it is not just kind of calling out and denigrating judges, calling them corrupt, that they should resign and pilloring them. It is wrong.
Yeah, I agree.
A lot of institutional damage is done. You are impairing, the integrity of the judiciary and weakening the institution, and it is dangerous for the system.
All right, part of what you are recommending, Oji, is contained in Sunday Tribune of today, where a story there is saying that Plateau, PDP petitions NJC or not get panel over 24 SAC state and federal lawmakers.
That is we only have 30 seconds. I would love your opinion on the cover story on The Guardian. Bettergate triggers reforms in federal government's intervention programs. Really quickly on the Bettergate.
Thank you. I think this, what you call Bettergate, I will not repeat it because I have not seen any gate. Nobody has.
You've not seen any gates?
No, yes, I've not seen any gate. I'm a very responsible reporter.
Yes,
nobody has been convicted of any offense. The lady has only been accused of some wrongdoing. She deserves a fair hearing. She's suspended, so that there will be investigation. So until I see any evidence of conviction, I will not use any gates.
But gates are about allegations. They're not about.
No. Not the way they are using. But then, I think this should be an opportunity now to institutionalize the social investment program, because if it's institutionalized, you have structures, in place, the sort of allegation that has come up now will not arise. So now this review should not just be a question of finding out whether money was moved to private account or not, but actually institutionalized so that it will be part, and there will be structures. If possible, back it up by law, so that whoever is the minister will have to follow the structure.
Thank you so very much, KK.
Always so refreshing.
Thank you.
Don't miss our Sunday.
I promise you this.
Don't miss any more episodes.
I promise you this year.
All right, we really have to go. That brings us to the end of the morning show today. Thank you for watching. I'm Steve Ayorinde.
I'm Sheito Atigari. See you next week.
And I'm Oji Okwe. From our entire team here in Lagos, Nigeria. Enjoy the rest of your morning and, of course, the rest of your day. Goodbye.